The distress signal tore through subspace like a scream in the void. Ambassador Thelrax's three-fingered hands trembled as he transmitted humanity's first-ever interstellar cry for help. "This is the Veltheran colony on Kepler 442b," his translator crackled with desperation. "We are under siege by the Krasithor swarm. 70% casualties. Send us anything, weapons, ships, soldiers. We're getting slaughtered." The Veltheran people had welcomed humanity into the galactic community 3 years prior with cautious optimism. Humans were newcomers, barely capable of faster-than-light travel, their military primitive by galactic standards. But they had one thing the galaxy respected. They kept their word. The response came within the hour. "Veltheran colony, this is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Space Command. Hold your position. Help is coming." Thelrax collapsed into his command chair, his dual hearts pounding with relief and dread. What could the humans possibly send that would make a difference? The Krasithor had brought 300 warships, leviathans of chitin and bioweaponry that had conquered 17 systems in the past decade. The humans had been in space for barely 20 years. 72 hours later, the sky above Kepler 442b split open. The first ships to emerge were the destroyers, sleek angular vessels bristling with railguns and missile pods. Then came the cruisers, heavy and imposing, their hulls scarred from battles Thelrax had never heard of. Battleships followed, massive constructions of titanium and fury, their names etched in letters 20 meters tall, indomitable, defiant, unconquered. But they kept coming. Carriers disgorged clouds of fighters that swarmed like metallic locusts. Troop transports the size of cities dropped into low orbit. Supply ships, hospital ships, reconnaissance drones, the humans brought everything. Within 6 hours, over 800 vessels had translated into the system, and they weren't stopping. "By the first star?" Thelrax whispered, watching his tactical display turn white with friendly contacts. "We asked for anything. They sent everything." Admiral Chen's weathered face appeared on the main view screen. Behind her, the bridge of the UESC Righteous Fury buzzed with controlled chaos. "Ambassador Thelrax," she said, her voice carrying the weight of someone who'd seen too many wars. "The Veltheran people sheltered our colony ships when we had nowhere to go. They taught us galactic trade routes and shared their medical technology freely. You asked for help." Her expression hardened into something that made Thelrax's species' legendary warrior caste look tame. "You're getting the entire Third Fleet, and we're bringing some friends." The friends emerged moments later, ships from a dozen human factions that Thelrax thought were rivals. The Chinese Stellar Navy, the European Space Coalition, the African Union Fleet, the Pan-Pacific Defense Force. Even the corporate security forces from Mars and the Belt had answered the call. Humanity, fractious and divided on 1,000 issues, had looked at the Veltheran distress signal and found perfect unity in a single principle. You don't abandon your friends. The Krasithor swarm, confident in their numerical superiority, moved to engage. They learned their first lesson about humanity within minutes. Humans cheated, while Krasithor tactics relied on overwhelming bioship numbers and regenerative armor. Humans had spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of killing each other. They brought that expertise to the stars with terrifying efficiency. Railgun slugs moving at percentages of light speed punched through bioship hulls before the Krasithor could adapt. Nuclear-tipped missiles, crude by galactic standards but devastatingly effective, bloomed in the darkness like newborn stars. Human fighters, piloted by beings who thought nothing of pulling 12 Gs in a turn, danced through Krasithor formations with suicidal bravery and impossible skill. But it was the ground assault that truly shocked the galaxy. When Krasithor warrior forms breached Veltheran defense lines, human drop pods began hammering down like meteorites. The pods cracked open and outpoured the Marines, humans in powered armor carrying weapons that spat depleted uranium, plasma, and pure kinetic fury. Thelrax watched in awe as a human sergeant, her armor breached and bleeding, held a choke point alone against 20 Krasithor warriors. She killed 12 before her squad mates arrived. She survived. The Krasithor didn't. Why? Thelrax asked when Admiral Chen visited the surface after the battle. Around them, human combat engineers were already rebuilding Veltheran infrastructure while medics treated the wounded. Both human and Veltheran, with no distinction. Why commit so much for us? Chen looked at the ruins of the colony, at Veltheran children playing near a human field kitchen, at a human soldier teaching a young Veltharan how to throw a baseball amid the rubble. 3 years ago we were lost, she said quietly. New to the galaxy, naive, vulnerable. Your people didn't exploit that. You welcomed us. You taught us. You treated us like we mattered. She met his eyes. Humans have a saying, Ambassador. All gave some gave all. When you called, we gave everything because that's what you do for family. The Battle of Kepler 442b lasted 6 days. When it ended, the Krasthor swarm had been shattered, their remnants fleeing into deep space. Humanity lost 43 ships and 7,000 soldiers. The Veltharan people lost their colony infrastructure but kept their lives. In the aftermath, as human and Veltharan workers rebuilt side by side, Thelrax transmitted a message to the Galactic Council. It was simple but would echo through the stars for generations. Humanity has proven themselves. They do not abandon their allies. They do not count the cost of honor. Underestimate them at your peril, for they will move heaven and hell for those they call friends. The message was received across 1,000 worlds. The humans, those strange, violent, loyal newcomers, had announced themselves to the galaxy in the only language that truly mattered. They had come when called, and they had brought everything.